What's going on, guys? No guys here. Welcome back to another video. In today's video, I'll be talking about the game plans, FIFA 20, formation, tactics, what's changed, what's new, is there any new tactics, etc, etc. So I'm going to explain everything in this video. If you want to pause this video and read the game plans, what they are, you can pause that, or you can pause it at this point to see how, or you can rewind it to see how I use game plans. But I'm sure most of you watch my videos, you know how to use it already. But I'll explain to you anyway. There are essentially I don't think there's any new formations. Don't forget, Ultimate Team's a bit different. So, for example, I think the 3-4-3 diamond, which is here, might not be an Ultimate Team like it was last year. So we have to wait for that to come out first. But there's no new formations from what I can tell. The next thing is so obviously you have the new. Well, it's not really new. The new tactics that were released last year, unfortunately, it's still the same. There's nothing new added. This is something I was very disappointed with. I was really hoping they would make this more intuitive, allow you to have more access, more controls. But it seemed there's nothing new added. We have the same features, almost the same width and the same depth, even the same offensive style. So there's nothing new on that front, unfortunately. But instruction, there are some new instructions. So I'll give it. So we're just going to change to the 4-2-3-1 because that is probably that's the formation that everyone knows. So first of all, starting off with the goalkeepers. Now, from so obviously I played the beta, but so I knew about this, you could say, before. But I can't talk about the beta. But let's just stick to the demo. And what I'm trying to say is, it's the same. Don't forget, this build I think is a pre-release build to Gamescom. I think, from what I've heard. So a lot of what you see now may even change in the final game. You might have some extra features. We don't even know. So, but it's what's in the game right now. So the first thing is, saving on crosses. You have caution on crosses. That means every time a cross comes into the box, the goalkeeper's always going to, or in most cases, will stay on his line. You then have, obviously, you have comes for crosses. So that means if someone does cross the ball into the box and it's within his vicinity, most of the time it will go to challenge the ball, either punch it away, parry it away, etc. So that's new for the goalkeepers. I think it's actually really important. I think maybe now not so much because crossing is not as OP in FIFA 20 as it was in FIFA 19. So I think, to be honest, leaving it on balance might be the best situation to go. But this is very interesting. You have the new, I suppose you can say, saving outside the box. You have the new sweeper keeper, aggressive coming out to the box. So let's just say, for example, I don't know, someone plays the through ball outside the box. And let's say you got no defenders nearby. If it's near your goalkeeper, you might automatically come out. So it saves you pressing triangle. Because you know how normally when you want a player to come outside your box, or your goalkeeper to come out, you have to hold triangle or you have to press triangle. Now, what that's doing is that means the goalkeeper will make a decision for you automatically. It depends on how you want to use that. I would probably say leave these both unbalanced. I won't touch these. But there are some new instructions. For example, in the CDM, under attacking support, you have a drop between defenders. So what this basically does is, it's kind of a bit like how Busquets plays under the 3-4-3, essentially, with Barcelona. Thinking about old school Barca, like not old school, but 011 Barca, Dani Alves flying forward, Busquets dropping back. So this only works when you're attacking. That's the key. So it's not when you're defending. So it's not going to be overly OP. It's only when you're attacking. So what it does is, essentially, so let's just say, I don't know, let's say Aspi drops forward, essentially reinforces the line, because Kante basically just drops back in between the defenders. Now, don't forget, this is only when you're going forward. Now, there are some benefits and there are some cons to this. Obviously, the benefits helps create a more rigid line. So if you do lose the ball, at least you're going to have a better back line in place. But obviously, going forward, if you imagine you're all attacking, your whole team's going forward, Kante is going to drop back. So you're going to lose this player in midfield. So do bear that in mind. So if you have, I'll make a tutorial on this, but if you have for example, a CDM dropping between the defenders, the problem is you're losing that attacking threat going forward because he stays a bit further back. So just do bear that in mind. But apart from that, game plans work in the exact same way. Of course, you can. So an ultimate team anyway, you can choose your formation. You can set a specific. Let's say you can set specific instructions. Let's say for a defensive formation, you might want to do something like this. And then what you can do, as usual, you can save it to either one of them. So there's still 5. There's ultra balance. There's defensive. There's balance, the one that I'm currently selecting over here. there's balanced, attacking, and ultra attacking. And don't forget, you can obviously change these in game, of course, using the D-pad. So you can shift through them using the left, as you can see over here. This is what it look like in game over here. The game plans on the bottom, it will appear like here on the bottom left corner in game, and you can just switch between them, and you can just see. So obviously on the fly, you can still change tactics. Apparently they've said they've improved the way it works. So now if you change to, for example, from a 4-3-3 to a 4-3-3, from balance to pressure on every touch, defensive style, apparently it happens a bit more quicker. So sometimes before, I think you had to wait for the ball to go out for a set piece. I think now, from what I've read, no guarantees, but apparently it's a bit more easier. So let's say, for example, I don't know, let's say there's like a quick free kick, it might even take an effect from there. But that's to be seen. But in terms of that, I'm actually really disappointed. Now, from what I've tested anyway, generally speaking, a lot of these are the same. So what's considered 3 width in FIFA 19 and 4 width in FIFA 19 and 4 width on FIFA 20 is virtually the same. Don't forget, the game is a bit different, so how it actually, transverse in the game is a bit different. But generally speaking, from what I've tested, the depth is very similar. There's nothing changed underlying. Do you know what I mean? So there's nothing in game has changed. So if for example you use my tactics and you're used to, I don't know, let's say for example you use my tactics, my 4-2-3-1, whatever, whichever tactics you want to use. If you use those tactics, it should be working, so you are free to use that. The only thing I would say is I think free kicks, obviously the whole mechanics of free kicks have changed now. You can set free kicks up differently, so you may want to adjust free kicks differently. I think now most people are going to be shooting their free kicks now, rather than, I suppose you can say, actually running onto the ball or laying it off to your teammate. So of course you can use that, but that is pretty much it, I think. From formation instructions, there's nothing really much changed. That's kind of the baseline. There is one thing I saw, was adjust position. Now I think this is only kickoff, so I highly doubt this would be ultimate team. It kind of reminds me of the old school PES 5 days, when you could do this, but I think this is generally only for kickoff. So these are just custom formations. I think maybe you can use them in online friendlies maybe, but I think this is mainly leaning towards kickoff, because obviously people used to do, I don't know if you guys remember, people used to do the ultra part the bars. Now they used to add players back. So people been asking me, is this going to be an ultimate team? I highly doubt that'll be an ultimate team, but it will be a fun addition to using kickoff. But anyway, that's the video in regards to formation and tactics. If you have any questions regarding that, let me know down below. But essentially it's exactly the same. There's nothing really changed. There's a few instructions here and there that's changed, but generally speaking, the actual baseline of how it works, the system, how it works, is exactly the same. And of course, there's no new formations. But anyway, I'll be releasing a new formation video, the new revised 4-2-3-1. I'm still doing some testing on a 4-2-3-1. Then I'll release a video soon on which I think you should be, which formation and tactics I think you should be using for FIFA 20. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Sorry I got a bit of a cold today, but more video will be coming on my channel, so stay tuned for that. Take it easy, boys.